Do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I can start, if that's okay. Hi, Ryan. How has it been just adjusting with this team and kind of like establishing yourself with this team?
It's going pretty good. It was kind of easier because I've known some guys playing up, growing up, playing travel ball, and then Brandon, I grew up playing high school with, and even younger than that. So honestly, the transition was pretty easy.
And obviously, like you said, this isn't the first time that you've known any of these guys, but playing at this level is obviously a different adjustment. Is there anything new that you've noticed or at all with the season, especially with this play that you've had so far?
I mean, obviously at a different level, like the play is a little bit faster, but I mean, overall, I mean, it's the same game, so it's pretty much the same stuff.
How have you guys handled the pod play and like the long series weekends? Obviously, it's just a lot, you know. How has it been for you guys on your bodies and physically?
So overall, I mean, it's been pretty solid. I mean, usually we'd have a midweek game. So like without that midweek game, having the 4 games on the weekend isn't as bad as it sounds. I mean, it does sound like a lot when you first when we first looked at it, we're like, oh, 4 games a week. And that kind of sounds like a lot. Like, is our bullpen going to stand up for it? Like our bodies are going to stand up to it, but it's been pretty good. Like we've been able to keep our bullpen intact, and then the hitters and stuff, we've been solid for like with our bodies and stuff.
Cool, thanks.
No problem.
Hey, Ryan, I want to kind of follow up on Mariah's question. You've, changed levels each year throughout your career and then not getting to play that whole year last season. What's kind of been that progression like to kind of continually make that jump? And then what was that extra year like to kind of allow you to have that early success in your first Big Ten action?
So when last year we got canceled, we all obviously went home, and then we kind of got a group together that was like a very small group of individuals, like a couple pitchers here and a couple hitters. And we'd go up to, I can't think of the name of the place. I can't think of the name of the place, but we'd go up and take live at bats against each other. Obviously social distance as much as possible with mask and everything. And I think that was the best way to stay in shape. Like seeing live pitching as like we would in the season. Obviously it's not exactly the same, but it's something that pass the time from when we got when we got canceled to summer ball. And then summer ball obviously helped a lot once it started back up. Having almost a full season there really played a good role into moving into the season in the fall for here.
Where did you play this summer?
Rockford, Illinois, for the Rivets.
And you had there were 4 or 5 of you guys up there, right?
Yeah, me, Brandon, Cam, and Brody.
What has, I guess, the strong start you guys have had to the season? I know you're just sitting at 6-6, but 3 of those games could have gone either way late. Without having that, non-conference schedule, just jumping right into conference, how's kind of just the vibe and energy of the team, knowing that, you guys are off to a strong start with just conference only season?
So like with the conference only, I mean, I've had two seasons where obviously it was normal where we didn't have conference to start. In games that we didn't open against conference, for me, one of the teams I've been on, the games seem like they're not as intense. They're kind of like, I wouldn't say rolling through the motions, but it was more so just like working out all the kinks. And that can't really happen this season because it's right out the gate. You're playing games that really matter for like the end of the season. So every game matters. And I think the guys understand that and are taking every game like as serious as possible and making sure that we don't make any mistakes that we can control.
Thanks, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ryan, nice to see you. Obviously, as Nico said, you've had a different stop each year in your career. I'm wondering, after so much success at UIC after a freshman, did you transfer? Like, what was the reason behind transferring there? Was it, with coming to a program like Illinois down the road in mind?
No, not really. I left UIC just because I didn't really see my full potential being used there, to be honest. There was a red shirt sophomore in front of me, so a year only in front of me, and he was catching over me, and I wasn't really getting as much playing time. I think I caught 6 games out of like the 48 that I ended up playing. So I think I just wanted to find a better fit for my catching abilities And so I decided to go to John A. And then University of Illinois reached out, and I liked their program a lot, and I committed to here.
Obviously, you must have done something there to catch eyes to get you here. How did that kind of play out?
So I think, honestly, to be honest, my biggest recruiter was honestly Brandon Comilla. Even before, like, as soon as I had like the talks of like transferring, he was like, all right, you need to come here. I'm like, well, yeah, I would love to come here right off the bat, but I think I need to go somewhere to like have that gap year, so I'm not just sitting out a full year. So then I decided to go to John A., which my roommate Andrew Hoffman, he reached out to me and said they needed a catcher. So that's how I kind of got the commitment to John A. And then Brandon kept talking to me throughout the year. And then obviously I reached out to Coach Chris, and he reached out to me, came to a couple games, and finalized on that commitment.
Absolutely. It looks like you really impressed D1 baseball and David Seifert with what they've seen from you lately, and how they've rated you as a draft prospect. What elements of your game do you think are clicking for you right now, where you've come to Illinois and are having so much success right away?
I think what's really clicking for me is my catching. I know a lot of scouts and like reports have come at my catching and said it wasn't as good as it could be. And I think I really tried to hone in on that in the fall, and I think it's gotten to where it's gotten a lot better. And I think there's still room for improvement, but I think it's gotten a lot better over the past couple of months.
Absolutely. And then my last question is, you came here and obviously you and Jacob Campbell have been splitting some time, another talented player. How do you think this dynamic is working out? I know you've DH'd some too.
I think it's good, honestly. Like, if we split games throughout the rest of the season, it keeps our legs fresh. And then, so like the games that we are catching, we can fully be locked in. We don't have to feel like our bodies are super sore or anything like that. So splitting time, honestly, is like a big help, especially getting the DH spot. When I'm not catching, I can still stay in the lineup and help that way. And I think it's good for the team.
Thanks, Ryan.
No problem.
Hey, Ryan. Appreciate your time. Just to follow up on what you just told Gavin, how do you think your catching has developed since last spring, or since you worked on it over the fall?
I just think I really worked on my receiving skills, trying to frame any pitch that's near the strike zone. Not trying to like fool the umpire, but really trying to make close pitches in the strikes. And I think that's a really step that I needed to take, and I think I have. Also, my arm strength, I feel like, has gotten a lot better for the couple from last season. And then I've really worked on my blocking. So kind of all aspects of my catching.
Has framing been a part of your development as a catcher all along? It seems like a newer conversation in baseball, maybe in the last 5-10 years. Has that always been something that you've focused on as a catcher in your development, or has that kind of come later?
I think it's always been kind of something that's always been talked about throughout the years, but I think it's becoming more of a focus now because you see more MLB catchers really focusing on the receiving, and they're getting actually really good at it, like better than what past MLB catchers have done. So I think it's kind of hit the radar more. But I think over the years, still people like coaches and them still preach it because of how important it actually is.
If you're okay saying it, if you don't want to, I understand, but how many calls do you think you get a game because of what you did framing wise?
I think a lot. I don't know exactly how many, but I've definitely gotten a decent amount this year already.
And then I don't mean to point it out because your average is there and the pop is there, but you're also leading the team in strikeouts. That's not unusual for a guy with some thunder in the bat, but where would you like to see that be?
I actually would like to see that improve. Over the years, I really haven't tended to strike out a lot. Beginning of the season, I was kind of feeling a little rushed and a little, like, I would say overexcited, just getting back into the swing of things. I think obviously we have some games that are about now, I think things will calm down. I think it'll get better.
Cool. Hey, appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
Oh, I had one more, but go ahead, Brett.
No,
there's still
Scott,
time.
Go ahead.
You mentioned Hoffman, and you've caught him every Friday. Is that by design because you're friends and you've known each other so long, or is it just how the decision's been made for that game?
I'm not really too sure on how that was decided. I would say it has a little bit of say in it that we've been working together for now 2 years, but I'm not exactly sure on the decision.
So Andrew's not pulling a John Lester and saying, I got my personal catcher or something like that, right?
No.
But does it help? Do you feel like you think together a little bit better because you've known each other so long?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot, especially like knowing what he wants to throw and kind of like how to attack hitters. I think it helps a lot. Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
What's it mean for you to play at home this weekend, Ryan?
I can't wait. Obviously, opening weekend here at Illini Field. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
How much anticipation have you had just to play here, to be at home and play a game at Illinois Field?
It's been a lot. I mean, I've been waiting for this since I've committed. Obviously, like scrimmages and stuff, but obviously that's not the same without like the actual intensity of an actual real game. Obviously, scrimmages are still intense, but not as a real game. So I can't wait for it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Anything else for Ryan?
I got one more. Ryan, what do you just think your goals for the rest of the season are personally? Like you've talked about improving your catching and your framing and maybe striking out less, but if you could just sum it all up, what would that be?
I think my biggest goal is to try to be like the biggest leader I can for the team. I think the catching position is the most important to be a leader. And I think I've done that over the past 3 weeks, and I just want to keep that role and try to keep working to have us finish first in the Big Ten.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
Anything else for Ryan? All right, Ryan.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, we'll have